What's up guys, in today's video I'm going to be talking about some gameplay changes I would like to see added to the game. So I'm going to be talking about the game as a whole, and what I mean by that is I'm going to be talking about some settings that can help improve the gameplay. I'm going to be talking about the maps, the victim side, the family side, and then lastly I'm going to be talking about the skill trees, the perks, and some character reworks. So let's jump right into it. So first things first, I'm going to be talking about the game as a whole, and what I mean by that is I'm going to talk about some settings that can help improve the gameplay. So let's jump right into it. So first things first, add a motion blur toggle. I mean, for me personally, haven't really noticed that much motion blur in this game, but I know a lot of people have been talking about motion blur in TCM and how it's affecting them. So maybe they can add a motion blur toggle to help those that are affected by it, so they can keep it on or turn it off. The next thing they should do is add a button mapping, the button mapping for the controller or mouse and keyboard or whatever. Because for me, for an example, I play on Xbox, and the X button is literally used for everything, like everything. To pick up a health bottle, bone scrap, getting a tool, opening a door, going through a gap in crawl space. It's crazy because the button mapping in this game literally gets you killed, by the way, because sometimes when you're going through a gap, I mean, from my experience, sometimes when I'm going through a gap, I grab a heal instead, or I flush the toilet and then I die because of that. Another example is sometimes a bone scrap will spawn beside a crawl space and a door, and sometimes when you're trying to go for a door slam, you grab a bone scrap instead. Sometimes when you're going through a crawl space, you grab a bone scrap instead, and then you die because of it, because you don't want to grab a bone scrap. You want to go through the crawl space for safety, right? So I think they have to add a button mapping because, like I said, the X button on Xbox and the X button on Xbox is just, it's used for everything. So hopefully they add a button mapping because it will definitely help the gameplay a lot. Because when you go through a gap, you don't want to grab a heal, obviously, because you want to live, and it gets people killed. I've seen it happen to people when I play family. They're trying to go through a gap, but they grab a heal. And on gas stations, sometimes when they try to go through the gap in the washroom, they flush the toilet and then they die. And also sometimes, like I said before, some people go through crawl spaces, and then some people try to go through crawl spaces and then they grab a bone scrap instead, and then they die because of it, because the X button is literally used for everything. So hopefully they add a button mapping in this game, because I feel like it would be very beneficial. So now I'm going to be talking about the maps, and the first thing I would like to see is different variations. And what I mean by that is I would like to see different spawns for the valve handles, for the fuse pieces, maybe even some new spawns for the fuse box and the pressure tank, because we've had the same spawns since launch now, I would say. So it would be nice to see different variations and different spawns for the objectives. I mean, let me know what you guys think about that. Different spawns for the objectives. I feel like it would keep things fresh and interesting, since, right now there's a reason why a lot of people rush, right? A lot of people rush because, they know where the valve handles spawn right away. They know where the fuse pieces spawn right away, the fuse boxes and the pressure tanks, because, it's been the same for a while now. So I feel like if they had different variations for maps, it wouldn't hurt, you know what I mean? Because having different spawns, would switch things up, and keep things fresh, like I said. So let me know what you guys think about that, the different variations when it comes to, like, the objectives and all that. And then next thing I would like to see when it comes to the maps is environmental kills. I feel like environmental kills would keep things fresh, because imagine getting killed. Imagine you kill a victim beside a tree and you use that tree as an execution. Imagine you kill someone beside a toilet and then you can use that toilet as an execution. Imagine you kill someone beside a door and you can use that door as an execution. I feel like I feel like a lot of people like that. F13 had that, for an example. You could kill people with trees and all that in F13 and hang people up on the trees, I'm pretty sure. So I feel like environmental kills would keep things very fresh, and, it would be interesting because it would be something new. And I feel like a lot of people would genuinely like environmental kills in this game because, it's something different. All these executions we have now are just with the weapons on the characters, right? So having environmental kills such as trees, toilets, doors, you name it, would keep things fresh 100%. And then for the maps, the last thing I want to say is I would like to see different gallow kills. I've been talking about this for a while now, like on my streams. I've always said, if you incap a victim, Wouldn't it be awesome if like there was like a gallo kill with a grappler or something where like if you incap a victim, bring them to grandpa, there's like a cutscene where grandpa hits him with the hammer, and maybe you get like 3 levels for grandpa or something like that. I feel like that would be very interesting, no? Because all we have right now is just that hook, the gallo, just that hook. I feel like if they can incorporate some new gallo kills on the map, such as grandpa for an example, make him use his hammer, I feel like that would be pretty cool. Let me know what you guys think about that. But when it comes to the maps, just to recap, I would like to see different variations when it comes to the objective spawns. I would like to see environmental kills, and I would also like to see different gallo kills, because all 3 of these things would keep things fresh and new. You know what I mean? And that's what people want to see. They want this game to feel fresh and new at times, because we've been having all these, we've been having these same spawns on the maps for a while now. There's no environmental kills, and we still have the same gallo kill, almost 2 years later. So, it'd be very interesting when it comes to the maps. The next thing I'm going to talk about is the victim side. So, when it comes to the victim side, I think this one is a must when it comes to the gameplay. Okay? Listen carefully. I feel like you should be able to put health bottles down. So, when you're playing victims sometimes and you're trying to go for a tool at the toolbox, you grab a health bottle instead. I feel like, when you grab a health bottle, there's like a little stand there. I feel like if you mistakenly pick up a health bottle, you should be able to place it, back on the stand where you got the health bottle from. I feel like that would be so beneficial, because sometimes, when you start off a match, you want to grab 2 tools, but you grab a health bottle instead, and you have to keep that health bottle, because if you try to get a tool with the health bottle equipped, it's gone. That health bottle is gone. You know what I mean? So it would be awesome if we were able to put down health bottles. That would be very beneficial. It would help a lot, because a lot of people mistakenly grab a health bottle when, they're trying to get a tool. So that would be huge. Next thing I would like to see is a stealth rework. I feel like a stealth rework. If they did a stealth rework, I'm pretty sure people wouldn't even put attribute points into stealth. But I think it would be awesome for the game to have a stealth rework. I mean, if they added a stealth rework, hey, I would try out stealth, And if they ever did rework stealth, I feel like they should make it where, it affects the voice lines for the victims. Because when I play family, if you guys watch my streams, these victims talk a lot, and if you use your family focus, you'll be able to you'll be able to hear where the victims are at because of their voice lines. So if they rework stealth, they could do a lot when it comes to reworking stealth. But I feel like the main thing for stealth is to make it where the more stealth you have, the less voice lines there are for your character. And obviously, like I said, when it comes to stealth, they can do so much for a rework. They can make it where it affects the sounds of your footsteps. They can make it where stealth can affect an objective. And like I said, make it where it affects the voice lines. If you guys had to do a stealth rework, leave a comment down below. Let me know. If you had to do a stealth rework, what would you do for the rework? And then lastly, I would like them to make strength affect the valve, not proficiency. I feel like the big thing here with proficiency is that it affects everything. Obviously, it's supposed to affect the lock picking, but it also affects the battery, and it also affects the pressure tank. The pressure tank makes no sense to me. I feel like strength should affect the valve, not proficiency, because you're literally turning a valve handle, right? So I think they should make it where strength affects the valve and how fast you turn it, not proficiency, because it makes no sense in my opinion. So to recap, for the victim side, I would like to be able to put health bottles down, because like I said, a lot of people, including myself, I mistakenly pick up a health bottle when I'm trying to go for a tool at the toolbox. I would like them to rework stealth, and then I would like them to make strength affect the valve, not proficiency, because it doesn't make sense how proficiency literally affects everything, and it just doesn't make sense how proficiency affects the valve. It should be strength. Strength makes more sense because you're turning the valve handle. So now I'm going to be talking about the family side. So when it comes to the family side, I feel like there has to be different spawn points, because the family members are spawning too far. For an example, on Slaughterhouse, Sissy spawns all the way at Battery. Hitchhiker spawns all the way at generator. And I get it. When the game first came out and when the tech test was out, when the tech test came out, which was the beta for TCM, you had to turn on both the generator and the battery. But when the main game came out, like, after the beta, when the game fully came out for everybody, you only had to turn on the battery. So it makes sense why they spawn all the way out there. It's because when the game was in beta, like I said, you had to turn on both objectives. But I feel like now, since, the objectives are automatically on, might as well make the family spawn closer to the map so they have time to set up. You know what I mean? Because sometimes when you're playing as Hitchhiker on Slaughterhouse, by the time you go at generator, victim is already waiting for you there. You know what I mean? Another map for an example, Sissy on Family House and Johnny on Family House. They both spawn in the back. Sometimes when you're playing as Sissy and you come into the house, victim is already waiting there for you. Another example is gas station. Johnny has to go through 3 doors to get to the middle of the map because he spawns all the way at the road, which makes no sense to me. So I definitely think that there should be different spawn points for the family. Make them spawn closer to the map so they have time to, set up if the victims rush. You know what I mean? And then also, I'm not saying they should add this to the game, but a lot of people have been talking about this. A lot of people have been saying that the family members should spawn at the same time as the victims, but not Leatherface. Leatherface should be the only one to have the cutscene, not Hitchhiker, Cook, Nancy, etc. So yeah, when the victims spawn in, all the other family members spawn in at the same time, so they have time to set up, and then Leatherface is the only one with the cutscene. Let me know what you guys think about that, because, a lot of people have been talking about this since launch, actually. How, like, the family members should spawn at the same time as the victims, just in case they rush, and the family members can have time to set up. But honestly, when it comes to the family side, I mean, that's the only thing I can think of, like, from the top of my head, is like the different spawn points and maybe the cutscenes for the family where they spawn at the same time as the victims. Obviously, I'm going to be talking about the skill trees and the perks as well next. That also affects the family side and then the victim side as well. But those are the 2 things I can think of when it comes to gameplay changes when it comes to the family side. And obviously, like I was talking about the maps, it would be cool for the family side, to get, environmental kills and different gallo kills. Also, by the way, when it comes to family, I just thought of this right now, actually. I think it would be pretty cool. I just thought of this right now. I think it would be pretty cool, okay, if there was tag team executions. So maybe, like, if you in-cap someone as Hitchhiker and there's like a cook beside you, maybe you can do like a tag team execution, a 2-in-1. That would be pretty cool, no? I don't know, I think tag team executions would be pretty cool for the family side, It would definitely keep things fresh and interesting with the tag team executions. I feel like a lot of people would like that. But yeah, when it comes to the family side, to recap, different spawn points, maybe make the family members spawn at the same time as the victims, except Leatherface. And then, yeah, tag team executions would be dope as well. So lastly, I'm going to be talking about the skill trees, perks, and some characters. So I would like to see them change the skill trees every 3 to 4 months to keep things fresh, because since they're not adding anything to the game where you can grind towards, they said they're not going to be increasing the level cap, change the skill tree up, make us use perks we never used together before, you know what I mean? Switch up the perks on the skill tree, randomize it, because I'm telling you right now, if they change the skill trees every 3 to 4 months, it would definitely keep things fresh, because having the same skill tree, we've had this skill tree now for every character for a while now, and obviously it's going to get boring after a while because you've been using the same perks together for a while. So I feel like changing the skill trees would definitely keep things fresh and interesting, because like I said, it would give us the opportunity, to try out, new perks together, new metas, new combos, you name it. You know what I mean? It would definitely keep things fresh. I also think, I don't know, let me know what you guys think about this. I know a lot of people have been talking about this since the launch of the game, but people have been saying that each loadout for each character should be for any side of the skill tree. So for an example, loadout 1 can be for the right side of the skill tree. Loadout 2 can be for the left side of the skill tree. And then loadout 3 can be for the middle of the skill tree, so that you don't have to keep respecking your skill tree over and over again to try new builds. Let me know what you guys think about that. And then when it comes to the perks, I'm not going to go into specifics when it comes to perks, because there's a lot of perks out there that have a lot of potential. And I think they need to do a perk update where they just, you know, tweak a lot of perks, buff a lot of perks, maybe even nerf some perks. I don't know, but I feel like if they do a perk update, it definitely would keep things fresh as well, because, you know, like I said, there's a lot of perks out there for both sides that have a lot of potential, but as of right now, you can't even use those perks because they're just useless. But I'm telling you right now, there's a lot of perks out there that have a lot of potential, and hopefully they do a perk update in the near future where they just buff all these useless perks, maybe nerf some perks. You know, it would definitely be interesting. So I want to end it off on talking about the characters, because, you know, they haven't been really doing anything with the characters in terms of reworks and all that. And I'm not talking about reworks in terms of, you know, buffing the characters hard or nerfing the characters hard, you know, but I feel like they should look at some characters and make a few tweaks here and there. You know, I feel like, I mean, everyone's talking about Hands, right? You know, a lot of people are still pissed that they removed Scout from Hands' skill tree. I still believe that they should have focused on his ability tree, not Scout. His ability, he gets it back pretty fast, especially, you know, with that Ripstall perk, you barely have any time as victim, right? So I feel like they took the wrong direction when it comes to Hands. I feel like they should have focused more on his ability and made the cooldown longer. And then I know some people want to see Maria buff. I feel like her ability should get buffed, actually. I feel like they should make it where if Maria sweet talks Grandpa and then Grandpa uses a sonar ability, if the family moves while using that sonar ability, it should affect them when it comes to damage or stamina. So I definitely, you know, I definitely think Maria should get like a little buff here when it comes to her ability. I know a lot of people want to see Julie get a buff when it comes to her ability. I think a lot of people want Julie to get buffed in terms of her movement speed when it comes to her ability. Obviously, her stamina is really good, but I think they want Julie to get a buff in terms of her movement speed when it comes to her ability. But in my opinion, I'm trying to think of some characters right now that can make a few tweaks on. I mean, I know a lot of people are talking about Johnny. The only rework I would make to Johnny is where he can't swing 21 times without running out of stamina. If you guys don't already, with his Scout build, you can swing 21 times without running out of stamina. Other than that, I think Johnny's fine. That might be a hot take because I know a lot of people don't like Johnny, but you do have to understand that Johnny's ability is pretty bad as well. I would definitely do a rework on Johnny's ability. Don't know how, it's up to them, because that ability is just, by the time you get their footprints, they're gone. So, but his ability is bad. He can't go through crawl spacers or gaps. All he has is that damage and lunge. So I think he's pretty good, except that 21 swings without running out of stamina. And then I'm trying to think of other characters right now. I mean, Sissy's ability is good. You know, I know a lot of people say that her ability should get... Well, here's the thing about her ability, actually. I feel like with Sissy, if you poison like a valve handle or a fuse piece, even a health bottle, I'm pretty sure if they... like, if you poison a health bottle, let's say, or let's say you poison a fuse piece and the victim picks it up, you don't get notified, I don't think, right? I don't think you get notified. So what I would make here, the change I would make here is if you poison a fuse piece, let's say, or a valve handle, if the victim picks it up and they get poisoned, maybe they stay highlighted for like 3 to 5 seconds. You know what I mean? Because sometimes when you're playing as Sissy, there's a lot going on. You poison the fuse piece, they pick it up. You don't even know they picked it up. You know what I mean? So maybe, like I said, they get highlighted for like 3 to 5 seconds if they pick up a poisoned health bottle or a poisoned fuse piece valve handle, you know? And I know a lot of people, let me know what you guys think about this. I know a lot of people want poison claws on Sissy, actually, because, you know, Nancy has poison claws. Sissy's ability is poison, right? So if they ever add poison claws to Sissy, I mean, the fact that she can swing fast and with poison claws on top of that, ooh, that would be very interesting. But when it comes to victims, yeah, Maria, Julie, when it comes to victims, Hands, Sissy as well, maybe a little rework. Obviously, they gotta do like a little rework when it comes to Wyatt and Bones as well. I mean, I know a lot of people have been saying that Wyatt is not broken, but I'm sorry, guys. I literally played Wyatt on stream today, and the guy is literally unfair on Nancy's house. Like, unfair. Because of, like, when you're playing Nancy's house with Wyatt, it's a freebie because the gen is just out there. You don't have to open a gate to get to the gen. It's just right there. His ability's cracked. I mean, when it comes to Bones as well, I know a lot of people want his blood build to be reworked. If they reworked his blood builds, you know, if they ever reworked his blood build, like his ability 3 like his level 3 ability, they would probably make it where you get a half blood vial from each bomb, you know? So yeah, I mean, those are the characters I would think of when it comes to reworks. I mean, Leatherface is pretty good right now. Hitchhiker, Cook are pretty good. No, I mean, if you guys leave a comment down below and let me know what characters would you rework if you had to rework any characters in the game. But yeah, I mean, when it comes to the skill trees, the perks, and the characters, you know, I would like to see, for a recap, I would like to see them change the skill trees every 3 to 4 months to keep things fresh. I would like them to buff some perks, you know, because there's a lot of perks out there that have a lot of potential. So maybe do a perk update where you buff some perks and nerf some perks, and then obviously rework some characters, because I feel like the only character we're really getting a rework on these past few months was Hands. You know what I mean? That's it. When it comes to his ability and Scout, that's all we got when it comes to characters. So I would definitely like to see some tweaks on characters as well. It would be very interesting. And like I said, obviously I'm not going to be talking about all the gameplay changes that I would like to see. I'm just going to be talking about some of them from the top of my head, you know, but I feel like these gameplay changes when it comes to the maps, family, victims, and the skill trees, perks, and characters, like I said, I know I said this word a lot today, but I feel like it would keep things fresh and interesting, because we got to understand, guys, we have to understand that they said they're not going to be increasing the level cap or adding an in-game currency. So we definitely need some gameplay changes, you know, to keep us playing, you know what I mean? Because we've been having these same skill trees, these same spawns, no environmental kills, no new gallo kills, you know. It'll be very interesting, and we'll see what they do this year when it comes to the, you know, the gameplay changes and all that. So to recap, when it comes to the game itself, you know, maybe add a motion blur toggle or button mapping. When it comes to the maps, maybe add different variations, environmental kills and different gallo kills. When it comes to the victim side, maybe make them be able to put down health bottles, rework stealth, and make strength affect the valve, not proficiency. When it comes to the family, maybe, you know, make it where the family spawns closer to the middle of the map so they have different spawn points, and maybe make the cutscene only for Leatherface and that the other family members spawn at the same time as the victims so they can set up. And then finally, you know, change the skill trees every 3 to 4 months, buff some perks, nerf some perks, and then finally rework some characters. So that's all I got for this video when it comes to gameplay changes. Those were some gameplay changes I would like to see added to the game. If you guys have some gameplay changes, you know, you want to see added to the game that I have not mentioned, feel free to leave a comment down below and I will definitely respond. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and to be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and take care, guys. Have a good day and see you in the next one.